Hey guys, and welcome back to Pop Beat Breakdowns. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down a song which is definitely doing the rounds at the moment in the charts for the second time. Now, this is Taylor Swift's song, Cruel Summer. I wanted to do a breakdown of a beat that I recently made in that style, in the hope that from this video you get a better understanding of how you can build a production which sounds similar not only to Taylor Swift, but also to this type of song as well. If you are new to this channel and enjoy these sorts of videos, make sure you smash the subscribe button after this video to make sure you never miss a breakdown like this, because this is not only the only pop artist I do, and also the type of subgenre when it comes to pop. There is a lot of different videos on here and breakdown videos which hopefully can improve your production skills, but today we are focusing again on Taylor Swift Cruel Summer. So firstly, let's have a listen to the beat that we're going to be breaking down today. I'm going to put my headphones on. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the synth pads today, because that's what really makes this song along with the drums. So starting with the synth pads today, you can see here we've done a lot of stacking, but we're going to start today with the synth strings because this is where I actually started the track. So what we got here is 3 different synths which are stacked together to get the desired sound. Now, to show you what the synths are, all 3 of them are retro synth presets. So this is something, if you're a Logic user, you can find for yourself. So we've got the retro strings in the first stack, we have the bright strings in the second stack, and in the third stack we have the simple analog strings. Now, all of these are going into a bus which has a side chain compressor to the kick, so that's going to create that nice little throbbing sound that you hear in the Taylor Swift song. So we just got simple chords here, and let's have a listen to what this sounds like. Just doing this again with that sidechain kick is a very good way to add some sort of development or some sort of movement in a chorus, and you can really hear that come into effect in the Taylor Swift song, so it had to be added. Now, to continue into the synth section to build up this massive wall that you hear, which attunes it to synth pop, we have moved on to some brass synth strings. So again, we're in the retro synth for the first one. We have the vintage synth brass, and that's accompanied with the ES2, and I've created using the Massive Saws preset, which is one of my favorite presets in Logic, to create our second part of the synth sound. Same chords, again with the sidechain as well, so we put them together. And that's how I created what I would actually describe as a very 80s retro synth pop sounding element that we've got here. Now, just a little bit of ear candy, I have included the Lush pad as well, which again is a preset you can find in the pad section of the retro synth. A little bit of ear candy to add to what we've got so far. And then finished off with just one more Massive Saws, where I wanted something a little bit more melodic to create a little bit more movement, because so far we've just got block chords, so it's not interesting enough, so I added this in as well. All together. And then one more thing I did as well was analog horns, because I could hear upon listening to the Taylor Swift song there was some sort of more really emphasis on synth brass elements, so I added this in as well, again playing the chords. Now, if you want to know where this is, you can find this in the brass section of the, if you're a Logic user again as well, in analog horns. You can also find this in the retro synth. This is a retro synth sound. When you put that all together, that's what we got for the whole synth section. So that's a large chunk of this production already covered just through stacking and layering different elements of synth together to create what we want. So now we're going to move on to the drums, because the drums takes a very big part in the production, as you can hear here. Now, with the drums today, I like to always put things into a subgroup, as you could hopefully see on here. But we started with a kick which I actually sampled from outside of Logic in Splice. So this is the kick that I came up with. And then on top of that, then I created an empty kit using the Drum Machine Designer, and I started adding in my own elements I wanted. So I started with this snare, just the Abstract Thought. This is a snare that you can find in the drum library in Logic. Then we got the Block After Party, which I wanted to add because there was a lot of percussive elements I wanted to try and extract from the actual original Taylor Swift Cruel Summer to put in this one. And then one of my favorite things, a digital cowbell, which is the next thing I added. This is tuned to the key of the song, by the way. Make sure if you're going to use an electronic cowbell that you're tuning it to the key of the song. And then followed it up just with one more snare, which is called Orion, or as I like to call it, onion, because every time I see that word, it just, for me, it says onion. Cool, and another than that, I've added the East bass. So this is actually, again, Logic preset for the acoustic drum kit. Now this is the East Bay hi-hats. Kind of subtle in the background. And then other than just adding this little, using some snare which is tuned, just to add some sort of nice transition to the chorus. This is where the whole drum kit all together. I've got some risers in here, which is a mixture of white noise and crashes. Again, sample from Splice, but when you listen back now, this is the whole percussion section. Now that leaves only one thing, and that is the bass section. The bass section, though, is quite complex from what we've got going on here. We've got a couple different things going on. So the first thing I want to show you is the 70s classic synth bass. Now, for those of you who subscribed to the channel for a while, you will know this is my favorite bass synth sound, and it sounds great, and it's almost perfectly identical to the synth bass that you hear in Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. So if you're a Logic user, again, 70s classic synth bass, you can find this in Alchemy if you search basses in Alchemy. So that is really good for your Logic users. So this is what it sounds like. Very simple, but it covers a lot of low end and it has that synthetic quality to it. And then we've focused on to the second part of the bass, because this is again bass as well, but doing something different. Now for the bass of this one, I'm using the retro synth. As you can see, again, this is two presets as well, the classic analog bass and the PWM bass. Put these together, it creates a really cool running bass line. Very 80s, very synth pop. I love it. And when you put them together, this is the low end altogether. Now, the last thing I will mention for the synth bass, which is really important that you do, is because you've got two lots of basses, I want to sort of create a bit of separation in the mix. So I've used the chorus effect on the 70s classic synth bass to push it right out to the sides of the mix, meaning it's not getting in the way not only of the vocals, muddying up the mix, but it's also not getting in the way of the PWM bass, which is going straight down the middle. So that is the whole beat all together. It's a very simple production to actually create, as we can hear here. And when you combine all these different elements, so you've got the drum elements, you have the bass element, and then the synth brass and synth strings combined together, this is how you get a Taylor Swift Cruel Summer type beat. So yeah guys, I hope you found this video helpful, and also make sure you comment below what other artists or genres type beats you want me to break down in future videos. Other than that, keep making music and I will see you in the next video.